NASA's Space Launch System had a big win in 2023, but it's just the start of NASA's plan to build a base on the moon. There's a lot of work to do to finish the whole project on time. NASA wants to team up with private companies to make moon missions faster and cheaper. They're working on a detailed plan to build the first lunar base, mixing NASA's smarts with private companies' new ideas. This is all to help humans go back to the moon and even further into space. How exactly does NASA plan to build the first lunar base? When the first female astronaut sets foot on the lunar surface during Artemis 3 in 2025, assuming the current timeline remains intact, it will signify the initiation of a grander endeavor than merely revisiting the moon. NASA's vision entails establishing a base camp amid the desolate expanse of the moon's south pole, where astronauts will reside. This lunar outpost is poised to surpass Apollo 17's duration record of 74 hours, 59 minutes, and 38 seconds, serving as a pivotal hub for extensive exploration. SpaceX has been chosen by NASA to furnish the human landing system responsible for ferrying Artemis 3 astronauts from the Orion spacecraft in lunar orbit to the moon's surface and back. SpaceX intends to implement a distinctive operational approach to enhance the efficiency of their lander. Following a sequence of tests, SpaceX will conduct at least one unmanned demonstration mission, landing Starship on the lunar surface. Once Starship fulfills all of NASA's stringent requirements for crew safety, it will be poised for its inaugural Artemis mission. While the Starship is the largest rocket globally and could serve as a comfortable habitat, it is not a permanent solution for establishing a human presence on the moon. NASA envisions the initial lunar camp to be modest, supporting missions lasting a week or two. However, as the camp evolves in size and sophistication, NASA aims to sustain crews for up to 2 months. Plans include a lunar cabin, an open-top rover resembling those from the Apollo era, and a mobile unit akin to an RV, enabling astronauts to live and work away from the base for extended periods. Kathy Lueders, NASA's Associate Administrator for Human Spaceflight, expressed that with each successive journey, astronauts will grow more accustomed to the capabilities, enabling exploration and study of the moon at unprecedented levels. With an escalating demand for lunar access, NASA is developing technologies to establish an unprecedented human and robotic presence 240,000 miles from Earth. The experiences gained on the moon in this decade will serve as a stepping stone for an even grander adventure: human exploration of Mars. At the heart of NASA's Artemis Base Camp, vision lies the goal of sourcing and utilizing resources directly from the moon itself. This strategic move aims to reduce the payload of rockets departing from Earth with supplies and potentially prolong astronauts' stays on the lunar surface. These lunar resources encompass a spectrum including water ice, oxygen, metals, and construction materials derived from lunar dust or rocks. Moreover, NASA is contemplating the deployment of an oxygen pipeline to distribute oxygen across different points near the lunar South Pole for upcoming Artemis missions. This consideration follows concerns raised by Peter Carreri, Chief Science Officer at Lunar Resources Incorporated, regarding the efficacy of NASA's current plans relying on rovers for oxygen transportation. The proposed pipeline, dubbed the Lunar South Pole Oxygen Pipeline, would link up with NASA's Lunar Ice Extraction Hub in the region. The lunar South Pole has become a prime target for NASA, China, and Russia due to its substantial reservoirs of ice and other valuable resources lying just beneath the lunar surface. This ice holds significant importance for NASA's ambitions of establishing a lasting human presence on the moon, as it can be harvested and converted into vital resources such as drinking water, breathable oxygen, and rocket fuel. In a recent statement on NASA's official website, Carreri underscored that the current funded initiatives for in situ oxygen extraction involve either storing oxygen in compressed gas tanks or liquefying and storing it in dewars. Both approaches necessitate the transportation of tanks or dewars to various locations for utilization. Transporting oxygen on lunar rovers consumes more energy than extracting it, making it the most costly aspect of obtaining in situ oxygen for use on the moon. NASA's strategy involves storing ice in cryogenic pressure vessels and ferrying it using lunar rovers, considering the significant distance from resource extraction sites to human habitats or liquefaction plants. Ice may need to be relocated closer to the moon's equator to ensure lunar habitats receive ample sunlight. Ferrari's lunar pipeline proposal aims to provide uninterrupted oxygen access for settlers while reducing transportation expenses. Unlike Earth pipelines, leaks wouldn't cause pollution since the moon lacks an atmosphere. Oxygen would dissipate into space. Lunar Resources plans to test various pipeline prototypes, beginning with a 5-kilometer concept. If approved, the Lunar South Pole oxygen pipeline for Artemis moon missions would be assembled from aluminum segments on the lunar surface. NASA is gearing up for another crucial mission, ensuring that future astronauts can capture moments on the moon, including snapping selfies. The space agency is at the initial stages of creating LunarNet, a vital initiative aimed at establishing an internet network on the moon. Yet, this endeavor goes beyond mere photo opportunities. Unlike the historic Apollo missions, which focused on pioneering lunar exploration, the Artemis program aims for grander accomplishments. NASA intends to establish various infrastructures on and around the moon, such as human habitats, a new space station, and a connected lunar surface. David Israel, a principal investigator at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, emphasizes the transformative impact of connectivity on Earth and envisions extending this experience to lunar and Martian missions. However, there are formidable challenges, particularly in data transmission between Earth and the Moon, especially from the lunar South Pole and the far side, which lacks direct Earth-facing communication. Additionally, logistical hurdles in transporting lunar internet equipment amid infrequent trips to the Moon pose significant obstacles. While upcoming missions, like the crewed Artemis II in 2024, will feature demonstrations of moon communications technology, Israel anticipates full operational capacity later in the decade. That's all for this video.